the moment the restaurant door opened, Rowan Hale nearly dropped his glass. He had spent 5 months doing everything possible to stay invisible around his CEO, carefully avoiding private conversations, skipping optional meetings, and even changing the route he took through the office whenever he knew she was nearby. He thought distance would protect his job, his peace, and the little family he had built after losing nearly everything. But on the one afternoon when he finally agreed to a blind date arranged by his sister, the woman walking toward his table was the one person he had been desperately trying not to see. It was his CEO, Celeste Marlowe, and the expression on her face suggested that she was just as shocked to find him there. If you believe kindness and second chances can change a person's life, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Spread Love Daily for more heart-touching stories. Rowan was 38, a quiet project manager at a rapidly growing technology company, and a father before he was anything else. His 8-year-old daughter, Naya, was the center of every decision he made. After her mother had walked away from their lives years earlier, Rowan had learned how to become both parents without complaining. He packed school lunches before sunrise, remembered science project deadlines, attended parent meetings, worked late when necessary, and still found enough energy to sit beside Naya every evening while she finished her homework. Their apartment was modest, their furniture mismatched, and their weekends were often spent at public parks instead of expensive attractions, but there was laughter in their home, and Rowan considered that wealth enough. At work, however, Rowan had developed a reputation for being almost impossible to read. He was reliable, respectful, and exceptionally good at solving problems, but he never stayed around after meetings and never joined office gossip. His CEO, Celeste Marlowe, had noticed him almost immediately after taking over the company. She was 35, highly intelligent, disciplined, and known for remembering details other executives ignored. She respected Rowan's work, but she also noticed something unusual about him. Whenever other employees talked about weekend trips, restaurants, or social events, Rowan always found a reason to leave. He seemed to carry an invisible weight that no promotion could remove. Months earlier, Celeste had offered Rowan a leadership position that would have changed his financial situation dramatically. He had thanked her and declined. She assumed he lacked ambition, but the truth was much more complicated. The position required frequent travel, unpredictable evenings, and weekend commitments. Rowan had calculated what that would mean for Naya and quietly decided that no salary was worth making his daughter feel abandoned again. He never explained that to Celeste because he feared she would mistake his decision for weakness. From then on, he became even more careful around her. Then came the afternoon that changed everything. Rowan's sister, Mireya, had finally convinced him that he deserved a life outside work and parenting. She arranged a blind date at a beautiful daytime restaurant overlooking a busy city square. Rowan arrived wearing a simple navy jacket and a clean white shirt, feeling awkward and almost foolish. He had not been on a date in years. He kept checking his phone because Naya was spending the afternoon with Mireya, and even though everything was fine, he still felt guilty for being somewhere without his daughter. He had barely sat down when the restaurant door opened. Celeste walked inside. She wasn't wearing her usual executive suit. Instead, she wore a simple cream dress, carried a small handbag, and looked almost completely different from the woman who commanded conference rooms filled with senior executives. She paused when she saw Rowan. He froze. For several seconds, neither moved. Then Celeste slowly approached his table, and Rowan realized with growing disbelief that she was not looking for another table. She was looking directly at him. His blind date was Celeste. The embarrassment was immediate, but beneath it was something neither of them expected. Celeste admitted that she had also been pressured by a close friend to stop spending every waking hour working. Rowan felt trapped between laughter and panic. He had spent months avoiding this woman because he feared becoming emotionally involved with his boss, and now fate had placed them across from each other with no conference table between them. They agreed to have lunch simply as two people, not as CEO and employee. That decision became the beginning of something neither could have predicted. During the meal, Rowan finally allowed himself to relax. Celeste discovered that the serious project manager she knew from the office loved old bookstores, made terrible pancakes, and kept every drawing his daughter had ever given him. Rowan discovered that Celeste's intimidating reputation hid a woman who had spent most of her life trying to prove she was strong because nobody had ever given her permission to be vulnerable. But just when the afternoon began to feel comfortable, Rowan's phone rang. It was Naya's school. His daughter had forgotten an important art project and needed it delivered before the end of the school day. Rowan immediately stood up, apologizing for leaving. He expected Celeste to be disappointed. Instead, she calmly told him that his daughter came first and that he should go. Rowan rushed across town, collected the project, and arrived at the school just before the deadline. When he returned home later, he found a message from Celeste waiting on his phone. She hadn't been offended. She had actually admired him more. Over the following weeks, their relationship slowly changed, but they kept strict boundaries at work. Celeste never gave Rowan special treatment, and Rowan never used their personal connection to influence decisions. Still, something gentle was growing between them. Celeste began understanding why Rowan had refused the promotion. Rowan began seeing that Celeste's ambition wasn't about money or power. She was trying to build something meaningful because she had spent years believing that success was the only way to earn respect. Then the company faced a serious crisis. A major client threatened to cancel a multi-million-dollar contract after a critical project failed. Several executives blamed Rowan's department, even though the problem had originated elsewhere. Rowan was prepared to accept responsibility because he knew his team had made mistakes, but Celeste refused to let him become a convenient target. She ordered an independent review, and the investigation proved that Rowan had actually warned senior management about the exact problem weeks earlier. The discovery saved his reputation, but it also created a new problem. Some executives accused Celeste of protecting him because of their personal relationship. Rowan immediately offered to resign. He believed leaving was the only way to protect Celeste and the company. He was willing to walk away from a career he had spent years building, even if it meant starting over. That evening, he told Naya they might need to move to a smaller apartment. Naya simply hugged him and reminded him that their home had never been special because of the apartment. It was special because they were together. Those words broke something open inside Rowan. The next morning, instead of resigning, he presented the investigation to the board and asked for an independent ethics review of the entire situation. Celeste supported the process without interfering. For the first time, Rowan stopped trying to disappear whenever life became complicated. The review cleared both of them. Months later, Rowan accepted a new position in a different division, removing the direct reporting relationship between him and Celeste. It was the compromise they needed. He could pursue his career without feeling trapped, and Celeste could build a relationship with him without holding power over his future. Their first official family outing happened on a bright Saturday afternoon at a city park. Naya ran ahead with a kite while Rowan and Celeste walked behind her. There were no expensive gifts, no dramatic declarations, and no perfect ending wrapped in a bow. There was simply a father who had finally stopped believing that love required him to sacrifice everything, and a woman who had learned that being strong did not mean being alone. As Naya's kite rose into the clear blue sky, Rowan watched his daughter laugh and realized how much his life had changed. Months earlier, he had been terrified of his CEO. He had thought avoiding her would keep his world safe. Instead, the person he had spent months running from became the person who helped him understand that sometimes the greatest risk is refusing to let someone into your life. Celeste looked at him with a quiet smile, and Rowan finally understood that second chances rarely arrive looking like second chances. Sometimes they arrive disguised as an uncomfortable blind date, an unexpected meeting, or a person who walks through a restaurant door at exactly the wrong moment. And sometimes, the life you were afraid to begin is the life you were meant to live. If this story touched your heart, please support Spread Love Daily by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your engagement helps these stories reach people who may need a little hope today. Special request, before you leave, comment second chances if you believe everyone deserves the opportunity to begin again. Because Rowan's story was never really about finding love. It was about learning that being a single parent did not make him incomplete, choosing his daughter did not make him weak, and protecting his heart did not have to mean closing it forever. Sometimes life waits patiently until we are brave enough to stop running from the very thing that can heal us.